Hello dear students, welcome to the lecture series of Advanced Java. I am Shruti Yagnik and today we are going to learn about JSF Standard GUI Components. So we had started with JSF, in which we had seen what is a life cycle of JSF and how it actually works, what is the architecture of JSF. Now in the basic lecture we saw that GUI is a basic important feature of JSF. So if you want a very rich GUI, you are using JSF. So in this video lecture in particular, we are going to see how JSF is going to provide you the best GUI possible, and it is going to enrich your user interface using the various components that it is going to provide to you. So in this lecture we are going to see the standard UI components, and we are going to design a simple student form in which the student details, some of the student details will be taken and we are going to retrieve the data. So let us begin. First of all, we will see which are the various standard GUI components which are available in JSF. So these are bifurcated into these four different categories. The first category is that of a form design. So if you are creating a form, you are using H form tag. Now this H here stands for HTML. So HTML kind of tag form is being used. Second, HTML kind of tag command button is used. Now command button is same as your submit button which you are using in your form. Okay, so form and command button are standing for your form tag and your submit button. Next is your input text, which is same as your type is equal to input type is equal to text. Okay, so that is again an HTML kind of tag available in XHTML. Next is input text area, so it is going to give you a longer or a bigger display of entering your text. Generally it is taken for having address. Next is input secret, which is used for password. So these are the various input forms, input GUI available. Next is the output one. So that is output label. Output label is something that is used for just a display. So if you are writing your HTML input text, then before your input text you generally give a label regarding what that input text takes inside. Okay, so you can provide output label at that case. Next is output link, which is going to redirect to you to a specific link, and output text again is same as your label or your text. Okay, next is your selecting. So you can select from list box, you can select from menus, you can select via radio buttons. So you have option here, you can select one from a list box, you can select many from a list box. You can select one from menu, you can select many from a menu, and you can select one from a radio button. So all these are the standard UI components, and we are going to see some of them in details. Okay, so we are going to create a simple form, we are going to create a program to take the form data, and we are going to create 3 different files. Now this is the first lecture where you are going to do programming in JSF. So let me first explain to you the 3 files that you are going to use. The first file is a Java managed bean. Now managed bean, as I told you in the previous lecture, is a model, and it is a place where you are storing your data and retrieving your data, and it can help you to store and retrieve data from databases too. Okay, so it is a model that you are going to create, and it is a simple bean class that you are going to create. Okay, now it is named managed bean because we are going to use annotations here, and annotations, as you have learnt in Hibernate, they are a simple or a powerful way of programming where you are doing mappings very easily by removing certain files. Okay, so in Hibernate you are not using an HBM file. Similarly here also there is a file which you won't be creating, but without that you will be able to do the mapping. Okay, so it is called a managed bean using annotation. Second is an XHTML form. Now whatever pages that you make in JSF will be in XHTML form. So whenever you will be creating a page, it will not be HTML, it will not be .jsp, but it will be .xhtml. And whenever you have a .xhtml page, that means it is a JSF page. Okay. and third is a XHTML again for display. So these three files you have, and the first file, that is your bean file, second is your GUI page in which you are going to enter your data, okay, and then you are going to submit the data somewhere, and third file is a place where after submitting your data will go and it will be displayed. So you have these three different files and we are going to code all the three files. So let us begin our coding task. Students, welcome to the programming section of JSF. This is the first program in JSF that we are doing. Please try to link it with the first video that I had done, where I told you that we have something called as an MVC model. That is a model, view and controller kind of architecture. So here we are going to create a model, we are going to create a view page, and we are going to have a controller, by default a face, Java face, servlet face, which is going to help you to redirect the request from managed bean to view page to the form page. So we are going to follow the simple architecture of this JSF. So first of all, we will see how you can create a new JSF project. You need to go to File, New Project. You will go to a web application. Next, let us name it JSF Demo Project. Next, I am going to deploy it on Glassfish. Next, now I am going to tick on Java server faces so that this library JSF 2.2 is included by default. Otherwise, without this library you won't be able to create a JSF page or XHTML page. Finish. Okay, so this is how my XHTML or a JSF page will look like. We are going to move on to standard GUI components. So we are going to create a rich GUI which is available in JSF. For that, you need to know the hierarchy first. Okay, so your XHTML page is also a kind of web page and it is going to reside in the web pages folder. Okay, so index.xhtml is a default page that is available to us. So we are going to start our coding here. But if you want to create a new JSF page, you can do something like this: new JSF page, and I can give it a name, first JSF page. As you can see, it has an extension of XHTML. Okay, now I am going to let's code in this file itself. Now this line is your namespace, that is XML namespace. Okay, so it is using XHTML, and this H, as I told you, stands for HTML, and this is available in this particular library. Please try to link it with your JSP, where you had your tag library directive. In that you used a prefix and you used a URI. So this here is your prefix and this is your URI from where you are getting the library. Okay, so here if I am using the head tag, I am using the prefix H before it because we are using it from JSF HTML. We are not using any other HTML, but we are particularly using JSF HTML. Okay, now we shall first of all create a simple form for taking the user data. So for that we need to create a model first. So let me create a simple model. Model is your managed bean, and managed bean, you have a name bean, so it is supposed to be a simple Java file. So I am going to create a new Java class. Let me name it student bean or student managed bean. Finish. Okay, now what all data we are going to take for a student? Okay, so first thing we will take is a private name of the student, so private string name. Second, let us take a password for the student. Third thing, let us take the city in which a student lives. let us take the address where the student lives. Let us take the subject that a student is selecting. Okay, so these are the things that I want to take from the student. Okay, so this can be a simple text, input text. This can be input secret. This can be city is, you can have a list box or a menu box from where you are selecting. This can be again a list box from where, subject can be a list box. Next is your address. Address can be a text area. So all these various things we are going to see via a GUI. Okay, now we shall have the getter setter methods of all this. So insert code, getter and setter for all, and generate. Okay, now this is a simple bean, but what I want is a managed bean. Why a managed bean? Because I want to do the mapping. What kind of mapping? A mapping in which all these data can be stored into the database. So for this mapping I need to create a managed bean. So for creating a managed bean I need to import javax.faces.bean.managed-bean. When I import this statement, I will be able to do managed bean. You have done the same annotation, that is @ in your Hibernate. The same thing we can do here. Here I am writing @ managed bean. Now this @ managed bean means now it is a complete model and it will help you to store or retrieve from the database. Okay, so this is a complete model and this will help you to do any mapping that you want. So compulsory when you are doing JSF, you need to create a managed bean. A simple bean will not work. Okay, so this is my managed bean class. Okay, next is I will create a GUI for taking all the data that I want. Okay, so my first data is H form. Without a form I will not be able to create my GUI. Okay, next is a form always needs to have a submit button. So let me write a command button. Okay, now this command button has an action. Till now in your simple HTML your form tag had the action attribute, but now your command button is going to have an action attribute. Okay, so here in my action I am going to write index.xhtml. So now this particular command button, when I am going to run this form and click on the action button, my control will move over to my index.xhtml file, which is this file. Okay, okay. Now let us take, now let me give it a value. Let me write submit. Okay. Now in this form the first thing that I want to take is my name for the student. So for taking name of the student I have H input text. Okay, I can give it an ID. I can write name for the student and value. Value attribute is whatever you are writing here, whatever the user, when I run this form, whatever I will write in this input text area, that value is going to go into this name. This is what I want to specify. Okay, so this is already a managed bean, so mapping will be done very easily. How this mapping will be done? Here I am going to use something called as expression language. So this is my expression language, that is hash, and inside this I am going to write the name of my managed bean. So it was a student managed bean. Okay, now you can see this student managed bean is my bean class and this is the object created for that bean class. I do not need to create the object will be created by default. Okay, so I can click on this. So this is the object. You can see my S is not capital. Okay, here my S was capital, but here it is not. So this is an object, and by object you can access all the properties that are available in this class. You have a total of these 5 properties, and all these 5 properties are available here. So I can store it in name. Okay, so this line says that whatever, after running this form, whatever I am writing in input text part in that particular text box is going to be stored in the name attribute of the student managed bean class. So in short, it is going to be stored here. Okay, and this will be done by the setter method, set name. Okay. Okay, next we will move on to password. So password is something that is secret. So I have H input secret, ID I can give password, and value again I can give hash, which is my expression language, student managed bean dot password. This is how I can write my password. For address, I will write H input text area, ID I can take address, and value I can store it in hash student managed bean dot address. Okay, now we have 2 things, one is city and one is subject. For city we are going to take a menu. So H select one menu. So from one menu, we are from a list of menu list, we are going to select one particular data. So let us keep it, we are doing it for city, and value should be stored in student bean dot city. Okay, now inside this you are supposed to specify a list of all the various cities. For that you need a core tag. So you need to import a namespace, XML namespace. Let us name it F, and in this JSF core. Okay, so now using this core tag library by prefix F, we can do create a list of menu. So F select item name label and item value. These are the 2 things that we will give. Okay, so first let us name city Ahmedabad, and item value is Ahmedabad. Similarly, we can give other cities. Let me name 4 cities. Let me name Surat. Let me name Baroda. Let me name Rajkot. Okay, same applies here. Rajkot, Baroda and Surat. Okay, so these are the 4 items that I have selected. Whatever I am going to select from these 4 is going to be stored in city. Same thing we are going to do for the select one from list box. Okay, let me name it ID is equal to, now we are going to do it for subject. Okay, let me name it value is equal to hash student bean dot subject, and in between this I can write F select item. Let me keep first subject as AJP, second subject as SE, third subject as PDS, and fourth subject as DV. Okay, so this is how I can design a simple form. Now when I will run this form, when I am going to enter the data, when I am going to select from the list box and select from the menu, and when I am going to press this command button, when I am going to do submit, then my control is going to go to index.xhtml file. So I need to go there, and in this file I can display whatever I want. So I can display first of all hash student bean dot name. So whatever I am selecting, whatever I am entering will be displayed here. So I can just write the name of student is, and this thing, okay, the password of student is. This is just for showing. Actually you don't display passwords, but this is just for showing. Okay, then the city where he or she lives is hash student bean dot city. The subject selected is hash student bean dot subject, and his or her address is student bean dot address. Okay, okay. One more thing which I wanted to tell you is we can display an output label before everything, right? We can display a output label before all the text boxes and all the list boxes that we have done. We can give a simple label for making things understandable. So I can use h output label, and I can give value is equal to, first one was name. Okay, this was for label 1, this is for name. Next is for password, I can give password. Next is for address, I can give address. Next is for city, let me write down city. Next is for subject, and let me write down subject. Now things can be more understandable. Okay, now as we have done the GUI, we have written the managed bean, and this is my display file. So let us run the code. We first need to run the GUI file. Same as you were running your HTML code, you are now going to run your GUI code. So let us run from here. It is first page.jsf. Okay, so name I can give Shruti, password I can give admin @123, address I can give Shahibag, okay, city I can give Baroda and AJP, and I can submit. So the name of student is Shruti, password is this, city is Baroda, subject is AJP, and address is Shahibag. So this is how you can do a simple JSF coding using GUI. Okay, that's all for GUI components for today. Thank you.